Hey guys, this is Gerson Ribeiro. I'm here at Google Campus, São Paulo, and I had to interview this guy. He's David Brown. He's the co-founder of Techstars, the accelerator, so many different business development company that you guys do. Thank you so much for having the time. I know we are in an event here. It's such a pleasure to have the time to meet you. Thank you so much.
It's great to be here. It's a great event, and it's a beautiful city, and I'm having a great time.
So this is the second time that you are here in Brazil. How do you see so far in the startup ecosystem? I know we have a lot of things to grow, but you as a person that knows so much from so many other places, how do you see what we are doing here right now?
I think it's very exciting. I see lots of great opportunity. I see a lot of different ecosystems developing. It's almost like there's these little green shoots appearing everywhere in the country of little startup activities in all different cities from all different parts of the country. And I don't know, as I've talked to people, it seems like there's a lot of activity, and I think in the next 5 years it's going to be something really amazing.
Can you explain to people, some people don't know what Techstars is, can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, of course. There's three parts to Techstars. The part that most people are familiar with are the accelerators. That's what we started doing 10 years ago. We run 22 of these accelerators all around the world, in the US, in Europe, in Israel, in Africa. And an accelerator, if you're not familiar, is a 3-month program where we bring in 10 great companies, we surround them by entrepreneurs, we invest in them, we give them some money in exchange for some equity, and we help them rapidly improve the state of their business so that at the end of the program they can go on and get funding and grow their business and be successful. So that was part one. Part two is we're also a venture fund. We had our first fund in 2009, small $5 million fund, but lucky to have invested in both Uber and Twilio as part of that fund. And
That's
of course,
crazy.
Twilio went public a couple of weeks ago at over $1 billion, and Uber seems to be doing okay. So
a little bit okay.
that's been a great success. And our most recent fund we closed last year. It's a $150 million fund. And then the third part are the startup programs, right? Startup Weekend, Startup Week, Startup Next, and Startup Digest. We merged with Up Global a year ago, and so all of that is part of the. That's right, you got the hoodie. So it's a collector's item now.
Oh yeah,
because
this is a
we retired the brand name Up Global.
Someday
it's all under
I will
the Techstars.
sell this for like $1 million.
It'll be on eBay for $1 million. That's right. So those are the three parts of Techstars: the startup programs, the accelerators, and the venture capital.
And tell us more about your personal history. How did you become entrepreneur and then investor?
Yeah.
Who is David Brown?
David Brown is a serial entrepreneur. I'm 52 years old. I started being an entrepreneur in a strange way. I got a job working for the government. It's the only job I've ever had. I won it in a lottery, and it was a horrible thing. And I met somebody there that hired me to be employee number 1 in a startup, and I've worked at startups ever since. I've never in my life had a job interview. So I was for employee number 1 or 2 for a little while, for the first couple, and then have started multiple businesses on my own. The most recent of which, of course, is Techstars.
Some people that watch us, they are big high net worths. We have high net worths in the channel, in the podcast,
Yep.
and they want to start investing in startups.
Yeah,
What's
great.
the best way to do this in Brazil? Because we are completely different than US. We have small cities like Recife, which is awesome. You should go there.
Yeah.
And, but we have here in São Paulo many funds, many investors. But the traditional guy, the guy that already has a lot of money, the very successful, how can this person start to see what startups are and to start investing in this kind of a business?
Yeah, I mean, I think specifically in Brazil, I think it's great to start as an angel investor. Sometimes it can feel a little bit like angel investing is a good way to turn a large amount of money into a small amount of money. So you have to be a little bit careful. You have to have a long time horizon. But if you make a few investments, it doesn't have to be a lot of money, maybe 50 or 100,000 reais, and you just make an investment in a company, and you see how it goes. Importantly, part of that investment should come with help. So if you have connections, if you have advice, if you can help the entrepreneurs in some way, that's a really good investment. So better to make an investment in an area that you're knowledgeable about than just randomly picking some company. And if you do, a few of those investments a year over the long run, it is a great activity. But in the short run, it's just money out the door, and it's a great
gone.
education.
After
it's gone,
you
but
put
it comes
there.
back. But it's a great education on how to learn a little bit about investing in startups.
Well, we are talking here to the Brazilian public, right?
Yes.
So we have been growing the movement from 5 years from now, and it's kind of a really exploding, which is awesome, which is great. But lots of people doesn't have any idea what a startup is.
Right.
And when they do, they think, okay, what's my first step? How can I get a partner or developer team or something like that? How can I get investment? These are the top 3 questions that I get.
Sure.
How is the first step?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the first step is to make sure that it's for you if you've never done a startup, right? I describe being an entrepreneur as a little bit like having a mental defect.
Disease.
It's a little bit like
Yeah.
having a disease. And
And it's contagious.
And it's contagious, but not everybody has it. Some people, it's not a life that's for them. Maybe it's too much risk, or that people who like process might not be born to do a startup. And so I think a startup weekend is a great example to get exposed. You go to a startup weekend, even if you have a day job, you don't have to leave your day job. You show up on Friday night.
The weekend.
It's over the weekend. By Sunday night, you have experienced 54 hours of what it's like to work in a startup. And then you can decide, is that good or bad? And if it's bad, that's fine. Go back to work on Monday. If it's good, go back to work on Monday and quit and do a startup.
And how can the Brazilian people here use Techstars in many different programs to grow their business or to start the business? I know there is a startup weekend, which is awesome. I mean, I love it so much. But what are the other things that people can reach out and to learn more about Techstars?
Yeah, so you can visit the website at techstars.com and learn more about the various programs, all the programs, startup weekends, the accelerators, the venture programs. Right now in Brazil, we operate, it's the second largest country in the world for startup weekends, right? Second only to the United States, so that's an incredible achievement in a short amount of time. And you can use the contacts you get at startup weekends to leverage connections. If you're interested in going to an accelerator, we don't have one in Brazil yet. We're working on that. We hope to have one.
Please.
Yeah, we haven't decided yet, but I promise we'll take a look.
When I bring you to the beach,
It's
there
just
you're gonna
too beautiful to go anywhere else. That's what I hear. But yeah, leverage your contacts you have there to get contacts in other countries in the world, to sort of take advantage of a global ecosystem of entrepreneurs to learn from others on how best to build your business.
Well, for the past 2 or 3 days, this right now was the second stage presentation that you had that I was listening, and you talk a lot about Give First.
Yeah.
How does it work? What is Give First, and how can people that are just starting from scratch do it to grow their ecosystems and to develop whatever?
Yeah, Give First is an interesting concept. It started as an internal idea, internal to Techstars, and it was just for me and my other co-founders. It was our core belief, right? We believed in Give First, which is this notion that life doesn't have to be a transaction. You don't always have to say, if I'm going to help an entrepreneur, I need to get money or advisory shares or something. Sometimes it's okay just to help. And whether that's helping an entrepreneur or helping a community leader, helping a corporation or anybody in the ecosystem, really, to sort of give them some advice, to give them some thoughts. It's great. And what we've discovered over the years is that if you're willing to give in that way, you get many wonderful things in return. And they are unexpected. You don't know what they are at the time that you're giving, but we can point to so many examples of great things that have happened in our lives, personally and professionally, that have been a direct result of giving first.
There's a saying, a word in English, it's serendipity.
Serendipity?
Right?
Yeah.
When you're aiming for your main goal, stuff happens that will help you. And if you shared good energy and helping people, this is gonna come back one way or another.
Yeah,
right?
Give First, serendipity, karma, those are very similar concepts, I think. And it is a good way to live your life, not only professionally, but in your personal life as well, with your significant other or your children or your parents. Giving first pays off.
David, thank you so much. Would you have a final advice for young founders or anything that you would like to share to people?
Yeah, I think entrepreneurship and startups is about following your dream and following your passion. So find a problem that that really bothers you, and then try to go fix that problem, right? I think that's the greatest road to success that I've seen, that if you're fixing something or you're building something that you're really passionate about and that you care a lot about, your odds of success are much higher than if you just are doing it because you think you're going to make a lot of money or because it's it's something that you think you should do.
And actually, there are many other easier ways to get rich, right?
Yeah.
Doing like a corporate job or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt, right, that the most successful entrepreneurs make more money than anybody else, but it takes a lot of lean years, hard work, no money. If you're doing it, if you're solely doing a startup for the money, it's probably not the right reason.
Okay, David, thank you so much. This was a very good conversation. Hope you come back to Brazil again. Hope you go to Recife.
I will, I promise.
It's going to be awesome. And I will be personally bringing you to the beach, which is going to be a very good time. Thank you again.
Thank you very much for your time.
And guys, every day, 365 days per year, we are here with interviews with people like David, with other entrepreneurs, investors. So check it out. See you tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.